And we start off in Hong Kong. Stories of abuse of domestic helpers aren't new, but a verdict has been delivered by a Hong Kong court in a case that has shocked more than usual. Let's now speak to our correspondent in Hong Kong, Alice Buristasio. And we will be speaking to Alice in a few moments. Stay with us. But let's speak to Meredith McBride from the Hong Kong Helpers Campaign, who joins us now. Great to have you here, Meredith. First of all,
thanks for having me.
What do we know about the verdict? What have you heard so far?
So the verdict was actually read this morning, and Judge Woodcock decided, convicted the defendant on 18 counts for a variety of charges, including criminal intimidation, assault, and grievous bodily harm with intent. And the defendant was acquitted on 2 charges pertaining to another domestic worker who was in her employ several years ago.
Okay. And what's your reaction to the verdict?
Well, once the judge left, everyone broke into applause. The courtroom was packed with supporters, union leaders, activists here in Hong Kong who have quite a vibrant community. So far the reaction has been very positive.
And just give us a sense of what life is like for the domestic workers in Hong Kong. This case, we're told, highlights a lot of the problems that have been faced.
That's true, and to give you a brief summary on what is a very long-going and complex problem, the problems start often in the sending countries, which in this case is Indonesia and also the Philippines. And these women often have to go through a training course, which they are charged for. So by the time they arrive in Hong Kong, they are already loaded with debt, which can be 4 to 7 months of their salary.
What sort of money are we talking about?
About $2,000 up to $4,000 is not uncommon.
Right.
So in Hong Kong law, the employment agency can only charge 10% of the first month's salary, so about $50. But the problem is that they collect those funds on behalf of employment agencies in Indonesia.
Right.
So these women are already in debt bondage before they even start working.
And then I've also heard about a 2-week rule and a live-in rule. What does that mean?
Correct. So the live-in rule is the requirement that these women have to live with their employers. So they do not have an option of choosing their own housing. And the 2-week rule is the requirement that these women must leave the territory after 2 weeks if their employment contract ends or is otherwise terminated. And it does take about 4 weeks to process a new working visa. So the practical implication of this 2-week rule is that the domestic workers must leave the territory if they change employers. Whereas obviously the live-in rule and the 2-week rule are simply not applied to other types of migrant workers or other types of skilled workers.
So does this verdict very briefly change anything at all?
You know, in one sense, yes, because it is getting a lot of press, and I think that, you know, a small victory. There are 2 women involved who received a successful decision in court. And so on that level, yes, I mean, it gives hope to a lot of women to whom justice is often evasive. When you're pursuing a court case here in Hong Kong, you are not allowed to work. And so for women who come from impoverished backgrounds, who can't afford to stay in Hong Kong without working, it's just not financially feasible to pursue any sort of case and ever receive any sort of remedy. So this case does give a lot of hope to those women that they can pursue justice in the future.
Meredith McBride from the Hong Kong Helpers Campaign, thank you.